Hello everyone, in this video I will be talking about the principles of chess. Okay, so in chess we have three main principles. We have control in the center, we have piece development, and we have king safety. Okay, so the order matters in a way, but we can think about it like how can I have my king be safe as soon as possible? All right, so we can look into the king side and the queen side. So knowing the special rules of castling, how can I have my king be safe as soon as possible? We can think of, I have to move my knight and my bishop from here to be able to castle short. And if I want to castle on the queen side, I would have to move my queen, my bishop, and my knight. So it is faster to castle short, right? So in this position, for example, the most common move for white is e4. You know, e4 is a very strong move because we're able to bring the bishop out, move the knight, and then castle right away. As well as we're also controlling some center space here. And we can think about it like we're trying to take over land. We're trying to take as much space as possible so that our opponent doesn't have many available squares for their pieces. Okay, so that's the thing about, that's the idea of controlling the center. So in this position, we do e4, we have an e5 response, we go ahead with knight f3. And I don't know, maybe you've heard about this, that people say, oh, you should move your knights first before your bishops. It really depends on the opening, but in a way it's true, because knights are very flexible. If they were to be attacked by something, they're able to adapt easier, move around, hop around, you know. So yeah, it could be true. But okay, so we have a response, so like knight c6, then we go like bishop c4, let's say. And now we're ready to castle next turn, right? So let's say they go with like b6 or something. Now we're able to castle. We were able to develop our knight, we were able to develop our bishop, we have some control of the center already, and we have castled our king, so our king is safe. You know, let's say they move, they go on with bishop b7. Now we can think, okay, well, now what? I'm done with chess now. You know, I don't know what to do. We can think of it like, okay, what have I not moved yet? What have I not developed yet? We need to also think about moving other pieces. One thing to keep in mind, and you should try to avoid, would be to move the same piece in the opening phase more than once. You know, some people get too excited, moving like the knight again, moving the bishop, sacrificing, not really calculating. So let's try to not get too excited and play a little bit more solid, right? So try not to move the same piece twice in the opening. We want to develop all our pieces. We want all our soldiers to be ready and awake, you know? So in this position, let's say we can go ahead with like d3. They develop, we develop our bishop. They move their bishop too. We develop our knight. They castle. And one key move here that is always important to consider would be h3. h3 on the king side. Why? Because that way, well, first of all, we're preventing the knight. We're limiting the jumps of the knight. We can think about it like that. Okay. So we're limiting the jump of the knight, because here the knight wouldn't be able to jump on g4 because it would just take it with pawn, right? Also, in future, as a preventative measure, we prevent any back rank problems in the future. So if we're able to, if we were covered by our pawns in this position, all of them, and then they were to give us a check or something, and we don't have any pieces here in the back rank, then that would be checkmate against us. So we can think about it like we put like a little window for the king. So if any checks were to happen, any threats, any attacks, the king can always escape with no problem. It's like a escaping route, you know, for your king. All right. And then they move their rook. And then there's this concept here where we talk about connecting the rooks. What does that mean? What does it mean like connecting the rook? What is that? So connecting your rooks is like we would like to have our rooks not have any pieces in between them, so that they have good communication and they're more efficient and they have each other's back. All right. That's when they're very powerful. Okay. What's another good thing about the rooks? The rooks, where do they belong? You know, because here you don't know where you would put the rook. But let me show you something, have a better visual for you here, right? So in this next position here, we have The same amount of pieces, we have the pretty much the same location of the rooks. So it is white to move. Where do you think the rook will be the most efficient for white? Because it's white to move right now. We get the next move. Take your time and think about where would be a good square for your white rook to be and be the most efficient, the most powerful. All right. So hopefully you thought about rook d1, right? So we have rook d1 controls the file, the d file, right? So that's where the rooks belong. Rooks belong in open files because they're able to control and just make sure that there's like nothing going on, that nothing happens, nothing goes through it, right? So here, for example, if I were to make like a move like this, now we're able to infiltrate. The rook for white, the white pieces, the rook on the 7th rank is very strong. That's like the strongest place for them. And for the black pieces, the 2nd rank is the strongest because they're the most active, they're the most efficient, you know, the strongest. So we can think about it like that. You know, so once we have everything developed, ready to go, we can move on and creating a plan of attack.